Hey guys, I'm back. This is part two of campaign update video or vlog number 11, CUV number 11. Part two, I want to concentrate on a couple of you guys out there that took it upon yourselves to contact me. So I want to do a video response. I think that's the very least I can do. I will not name you by name because I want to respect your privacy. So I hope that's okay as well. Um, a young lady had messaged me and asked me, well, I like your plan, Bob, meeting Bob being the better Oklahoma blueprint. And she loves how passionate we are and how in touch we are. And I think she asked a great question. She says, but who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? What are your businesses? Are you married? Do you have kids? So forth, so forth. And I think that those are some good points to bring up. I think I've been really focused on the technicalities that I think I got out of touch with the little softer side of things. So let's do that really quickly. My name is Sam, Mis-soum. I was born March 6, 1988. March 6 is the same birthday as Shaquille O'Neal. I don't know why I brought that up, but I always thought that was interesting growing up. Growing up, I was a big fan of Jimmy Carter, the president. I met him a couple of times. It's one of the best honors of my life. I met President Jimmy Carter, President Obama as well, up in New Hampshire, where when my parents actually had a house that was a couple of miles down the road from General Petraeus' house and Mitt Romney's house in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. So President Obama would visit for campaign donations and visiting with people and whatnot, and I got to run into him a couple of times. So that's another cool thing about me. Now let me give some biographical information. I was born in Rolla, Missouri. My father and mother were immigrants. My dad got his PhD at the University of Missouri Rolla. He then later went on to be a professor at the University of Maryland in College Park, where I also grew up for a couple of years. We then moved to Atlanta, Georgia. I went to elementary school, middle school in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Then we moved to Alabama, where I would say Montgomery, Alabama is where my formative years happened. I went to high school there. I briefly went to Georgia Tech for 1 year. Things didn't work out great for me, so I went to Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama. I did 4.5 years at Auburn, got my advanced materials engineering degree. I then got a job offer at I'll just call it a Fortune 500 oil company here in Oklahoma to work as a materials engineer on oil pipelines. I did that for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years. And at night, I was getting my master's in business with elective concentrations in finance and sports management. As Within the last 2 months, well, when I first started the program in 2013, within a week of starting that program, my mother passed away at the age of 52. Her name is Amina. She passed away unexpectedly. It was heartbreaking. It felt like it was going to be the end of my life. And I think through the strength of just knowing what she would have wanted me to do, I just kind of pushed along, having had just started my master's degree program at Oklahoma State at night. 2.5 years later, I finished. After my mom passed away, about a year and a half, I finished my degree. I get my master's in business, like I said, with an elective in finance and sports management. Just around that time, it looked like Saudi Arabia and Iran were going at it regarding sanctions and lifting of sanctions and trying to drive the oil prices down. You get an influx of supply, demand goes down, or demand is about the same, prices go down, price of oil barrel goes down, and all of a sudden the company needs to start slashing jobs. So I go from, what I thought I was a rock star, engineer, having done my hours, gone to school at night, and all that, to getting laid off, to being in a position I never thought I would be in. I spent the next 2 years after that dabbling around in business ideas. I tried to do a unmanned aerial vehicle startup company that failed. I tried to open a chain of car mechanic shops that failed. I tried several other things. They all failed. So money was getting tight. And then finally, I got some traction into some online business sales for footwear and apparel, commodities, general consumer goods, whatever's popular out there, I probably am selling it on one of my many websites. I don't want to mention those websites just for any legal purposes. Anyhow, a lot of people would say, well, why are you an engineer with a master's in business, blah, 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 and why are you, selling shoes online or selling pants online or selling, t-shirts online or selling, gizmos and gadgets online. And for me, I always thought that engineering wasn't a mean to an end. It was more of a mean to another mean to how I live my life, to how I view things in my life. I looked at engineering and my business degree as tools. It's like, God gave us arms not just to eat with them or just to work with them, but we can also learn other things like swimming or tennis or, finding new ways to use our body to get things done. So, and I hope that's a good example, but I look at it as a tool. So, just like I used it to be successful in business, I'm using those same skills to hopefully be successful in public service and in public office. And I feel like I am making a connection with people out there with how I'm doing what I'm doing, with how I'm connecting with you. I think some of those traits as an engineer do come through sometimes, such as Bob. The better Oklahoma blueprint, being very organized and methodical in the approach of how we tackle problems, how we find solutions. It's not just about big generalities saying, well, hey, I've worked on both sides of the this or that, or I've got experience, or I'm a Republican and I'm against abortion, or I'm a Democrat and I want this or that or that. Those are all just wedge issues. I think we're done with being stuck in the wedge. I think it's time for actual solutions. I hope that doesn't sound very gimmicky, but as an engineer, there is no solution that's not possible. So just a moment. So when I say that, I actually mean it. And I could go on with examples in my own personal life where I feel like my academic skills and my personal skills and my social skills actually helped me with things totally unrelated. But like I always like to think, everything is related in a way. Whether it is dealing with somebody on a factory floor like I did, whether it's dealing with CEOs and explaining to them why a project failed or why a project succeeded, there is no better experience than being not just on both sides of an issue, but having worked on both sides simultaneously. At the same time, basically. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. So now, personally, I am married. My wife's name is also Amina. I call her Amy for short. It's a weird coincidence that she has the same name as my mother, and that's why I gave her the nickname Amy instead of Amina. She was born in 1991. There's 3 years difference between us. She has a master's degree in finance. She lives with me here in Tulsa. We've been married for, it's going to be 2 years in August. So that makes it what? Oh wow, we're close. 22 months. I better not forget our anniversary date. Anyhow, having said that, we don't have any children. We do plan on it, but we'll take things slowly, see how things go. And other than that, I don't know what else, if there's something else you guys want to know personally about me. I like pizza. I like chicken and rice. I like Mediterranean food. I started to like Mexican food ever since I moved to Oklahoma, believe it or not. Ethnically, I am of, I would say, Mediterranean mutt. And what I mean by that is Southern Europe, North Africa, just a mix of, Berber, Turkish, French, Arab, Spanish. I call it the Creole of the Mediterranean. So, wherever you throw a finger on the Mediterranean, I probably got some of it. So, having said that, by the way, if I keep looking this way, I'm looking at my laptop just to remember some things. So yeah, okay, let's call this the end of part 2. Let's see if we need a part 3. If not, this is going to be the end of it. but we'll go from there. Okay, guys?